Do you know this feeling when days, weeks, and months just turn into one indistinguishable flow of life, sprinkled sometimes with prominent, usually negative world events? Certainly, recently, I learned that feeling. Often I can't remember what I was doing in the beginning of a week and have to look at my calendar or scramble for messages to find out. This was even more prominent now when, on one hand, there are a lot of world-changing events happening seemingly every day, and on the other hand, it feels like life is just flowing through my fingers. For over a year now, every month I've been doing monthly reflection and review. I started it as a way to remind myself what I've done, what I liked, disliked, what I learned, and what I'm grateful for. In the end of April, I decided to spice things up a little bit and do a trip as well, to push myself out of usual surroundings and review the month with a fresh view of a new city. I used to travel almost once a month before because I was in long-distance relationships. Now that I'm in extremely short-distance relationships, it can also be nice to have a little time separately and enjoy a whole bed just for yourself. So I'm taking a weekend trip to Vienna, perks of living not too far away from other countries in Europe, to review my month, to walk a lot, eat delicious food, watch ballet, take baths, and try to revive that joie de vivre sparkle amidst rising inflation, war, uncertainty, etc. Here you can see me actually writing the script for this video while I'm flying, so I'm currently reading what I wrote up there. Join me in this vlog where I'll show you around Vienna. We're gonna go to ballet and to a really beautiful exhibition, and I'll also talk through how I do my monthly reviews and what things I usually write up there. Let me show you around my hotel room. It's really nice, super high ceilings. I wanted to sort of, not really splurge, but have a nice hotel and not sort the hotel by the increasing price. So I chose something a bit further out, but a little bit more nice. Just your regular espresso, lovely already green view. It looks like spring. It's super nice. I'm fairly tired, can't come up with anything but nice. Here I have a lovely room, a lot of light. Oh, I love that. Beautiful table where I'll probably spend some time journaling tomorrow, maybe writing my monthly review. More windows. Oh, adorable. I love these tables. I think I saw them from H&M Home, like nightstands, but I don't know whose design is it originally, but I love that. I'm super obsessed with these kind of openings. What is it Zola? Emile Zola? Oh, Big Cruel. Yeah, it's a book by Emile Zola because the hotel's name is Zola. Oh, well, it's in French, so I do have a chance to read it. I've never read anything by him. And a candy. Interesting. There's a lot of very chewy nuts. Praline with nose. And now, the most important thing, why I booked this hotel, out of many other ones, is the bathroom. It's not so easy to find hotels with bathtubs for some reason, especially like in the price range that I'm looking for. Probably more expensive, it's more likely, but this one has a bathtub. So cool. Oh. Now I have a few minutes to chill, maybe 20-30 minutes, and then I have a dinner booked for myself. I really like to prep and book things for myself to have something to enjoy and look forward to. So I'm gonna go to some place that has farm to table products. So they pick up products from local farms and make their daily menu based on what's available. So there is no actually set menu. It's rated pretty good, so I'm quite excited. For now, I need to rest and lay down. So I came here to do my monthly review. Usually I just do it in the last few days of a month or in the beginning of the next one. And it's a little bit different from regular journaling or even therapy, because here I'm more focused on actually writing down what happened, what were the highlights, what I enjoyed the most, what were the learnings from this month, what are my gratitudes for this month. And looking back at every single month in my Notion, I can notice pretty much some change, and it does make me feel a little bit better about what I've achieved, or in which things I grew, or what I went through overall. And every next month, even if it's horrible and feels like there is no hope, I can actually look back and see that, oh, there was already a time when I felt bad and it changed, it passed. I love this practice a lot because I generally don't remember very well what I did, and in the end of the year when I do my yearly review, then I can look back at the most memorable highlights of the year, of every month, and write those down and just reminisce about them. So I want to show you a little bit how I structure my Notion for the monthly review. I have a few areas that I write down. So I start with just the emoji representation of how I felt this month. I would probably forget things, but if I remember that I walked a lot, or sat a lot with my friend's puppy, or was sad a lot, then I can add this as an emoji, and then it's like a really nice overview of the whole year in the end. Then I have a section for highlights. In highlights, I write both positive and negative things that I remember that were the highlights of this month. So it can be like a lot of sunny walks, nice weather, or spending a lot of time on my balcony with coffee, or maybe my partner cooking a lot for me, tasty dinners, and I remember that a lot, and it gives me the feeling of the month as well as like if I'm sick a lot, if I have a lot of headaches, I'd probably write that here too. Then I have a section for gratitudes, and here I write not day-to-day things, but more encompassing gratitudes. For example, I can be grateful for moving to a different country, or for myself making that decision at the time when I did it. I can be grateful for buying myself vitamins or doing blood check. I can be grateful to someone who were taking care of me a lot. This is not really the gratitude that everyone is talking about, that is scientifically proven to be supportive and helpful in making your life better and happier. This is just for myself to kind of as well remember the month. I also did the pretty much daily gratitude journal for some time, and it did actually help, but I'm pretty bad at keeping consistency, so after a few months I stopped. But if you want gratitude to give you the mental health support it can, then you should do it probably, I think the study says that at least 3 times a week, because otherwise you can still go back to this constant negative thinking and self-talk. And if you do it frequently, if you say or write down what you're grateful for frequently, then it supports your mental health, and it actually builds the paths between your neurons in your brain that are more often triggered to find something good in your life, to find something to be grateful for and happy about. Then I have a section on pains of the month. This is usually the shortest one because I really don't like to write a lot about what I felt bad about. Usually it's just like headaches, or I'm feeling sick, or maybe the weather really affected me that month. A useful thing of this section is that like I can see it on my screen one after the other month, and if I see something being repeated there multiple times, then it's probably a really good time to take action on it.
Then I have a section on growth, and here I can praise myself for changing for the better, whatever I define as better. It doesn't have to be like becoming more, rich or getting promotion or whatever. It can be just recognizing where my fears come from, or having a really good progress in therapy, or being consistent with a habit, like when I could journal for every day, or when I did running for every day. Then I can be feeling growth in myself for that. I also have a section on achievements that are more like material achievements, where I used to write like, oh, I earned this much on YouTube, or I got a raise, or just the fun stuff to remember when that happened. Then I have a section on the therapy learnings that are a little bit different from growth, but more specific to what I discussed with my therapist this month, and how I changed for the better or not. What were the most common pains or the biggest revelations about how my traumas from the past affect me now. So this is also to be able to look through every month and see what changed and how it affected me, and maybe learning something from it. Or if I forgot some therapy learnings from a few months back, then I can reiterate on that and remind myself about it. And I also have a section on what I take with me in the next month. And I'm not sure actually if this one is useful, but yeah, this one is mostly being like, I need to rest, I need to walk, I need to sleep a lot. Things can be drastically different all the time, and I just have to accept that. It's mostly this part, but I still like to have it to just like set a little bit of an intention for the next month. How it also can bring value to my everyday life is through looking through the highlights, and the gratitude section for me is a really good indicator on what I enjoy and what brings me happiness, good mood, creativity, maybe gives me back my resources instead of taking them. Then I can see that, for example, in winter, I've been suffering a lot because the weather is bad and I don't want to go out for walks. And when I travel to some nice and sunny place, of course, it's more convenient to go out and you do it more eagerly and then you enjoy it more. So this can be a learning for me that having little trips to places with a nicer weather, in my opinion, can be a good mood and productivity boost for me. I noticed that before the trip and after the trip, I'm more productive, more excited to do different new things, and generally putting me out of the common context for me, like everyday routines, works better for my mental health rather than constantly having the same exact routine. This is very different for everyone, and generally having routines is considered to be much more healthy and better for your day-to-day life and for your mood stability. But in my case, having some things that are out of routine is really good. I really enjoy novelty, and it really drives me to do things and feel myself better. Another thing that is coming out of those monthly reviews is my feelings about my values, like the core values that I have in my life, which I try to live by. And those are not only affected by, of course, this monthly review, but everyday life, things that are happening and affecting me. Obviously, I change my opinions and I see some things in a new light, and then I do change my values or move them more on the scale. Like I could be valuing kindness, but some action in the world can make me feel like I want to be valuing radical kindness or something that's much more drastic. So being able to reflect on what I liked and disliked, what I enjoyed, what made me feel bad, what made me feel good, is a good way to understand what I need more of and what I need less of in my life. And then being able to write things down in the next month will give me an ability to measure in a way how those changes affected me, whether I implemented them or maybe if I didn't implement them, if the problem persisted or not. And there is a famous phrase in analytics: what gets measured gets changed or improved. I don't remember exactly. I'll probably write it somewhere here and the credits for that. But this is the whole point of, data science, data analytics, product performance estimation based on data, is that if you don't have data, you'll never know how you perform. Amongst a few other ways, this is my way to measure how I'm performing. And I don't have, of course, any OKRs or any goals that I need to reach on a specific metric, like no retention or monetization metrics for my life. This is more of a feel-good performance. Like how good am I feeling? How much energy and resources do I have to do things that I like? Do I even like anything at the moment? And I find it one of the least stressful ones for me and one of the most impactful ones, because I've tried doing agile sprints in my life, in my personal / this YouTube / a little bit work part, and then I find it a bit too harsh and too business-like to feel good about myself still if I didn't do something, or if I didn't reach some goals, didn't do some tasks. Or I also have a daily mood tracker where I enter just, different smileys from frown or anger to a very happy one 2 times a day. And then I can see like charts of mood, stability, and graphs where I felt better or worse. But this one actually is much less actionable for me because it does not explain why, or I don't remember anymore why. Well, apart from obvious things like wars and sickness and like big things that I can remember what happened. Overall, I can't really remember why I was down that day or maybe super happy that day, and writing it down in words and like highlights is much more actionable for me to be able to do that. But I still track my mood because I just like tracking everything, apparently. Yeah, this is my monthly review. I'm a little bit done with it for this month, half done. It's been a challenging month. I think I reached the point of like shutting down my feelings because whatever is happening in the world is just too painful and too stressful to look at, and it does not directly impact me enough to have the need to, trigger those emotions that will pretty much help me survive. Like I will still most likely survive unless we all die together in the nuclear explosion. For that I really liked and listened to a lot of Tom Lehrer and his song "We Will All Go Together When We Go." That's been my vibe for April, unfortunately.
And we will all go together when we go. What a comforting fact that is to know.
But yeah, I managed to have a few feelings of maybe I can still feel the joy of living here and there. I was much more active in booking plans for myself and deciding what I want to do, and actually bringing the learnings from previous months into this month to book myself some things that I know will make me feel better. But it's always, a struggle of the balance where on one hand there are news or world events that really impact how you feel, and on the other hand there's just as much of like matcha lattes and restaurants and travel and journaling and meditation that you can put, and sometimes it might not balance out, unfortunately, but this is life and it's also something to accept. Now I'm going to have very late breakfast and walk around Vienna, and also I did book myself a ballet this evening. I'm gonna go watch ballet in Vienna Opera. I actually originally booked like an open ballet class in Vienna Opera during the day, but it got cancelled, so I just decided whatever, I'm gonna go for a full scale ballet performance. So I'm very excited about that. I do love watching dancing and dancing and love ballet. So this is my plan for today, and I'll probably take you a little bit with me.
This town simultaneously gives me vibes of Budapest and Berlin mixed in together a bit. Never been to Vienna before. Good morning. I'm in my favorite Pink Floyd t-shirt going to a museum. I'm going to Albertina Modern Museum for an exhibition of Weiwei, a Chinese modern artist. We'll see how it goes. So it's raining right now. My walk is cancelled, so maybe I should go eat something. But I just wanted to say how much I enjoyed this exhibition and how happy I am that I went through it instead of something more of a classic. It's just insane how relevant it is and how little do we know about people who protest and suffer from authoritarian, totalitarian, and dictatorship regimes, how cruel those regimes are, and how, I guess, afraid they are of being overthrown, that they're so insanely strict, surveil the limit people's movement and rights and voices. It's extra painful to look at these works right now. I mean, it gives some hope, I guess, that you see that you're not alone in thinking that this is wrong, but the history keeps on repeating itself. Oh, that was tough. But yeah, anyway, I'm gonna go out into the rain and walk a bit and find some place to eat maybe. Thank you for joining me in this trip and on this museum walk. Have a nice day.